Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't need to, and today we are talking about Sofi Technologies SOFI stock. In this video, we will be analyzing a plethora of articles, to where the first one is titled, Sofi Stock Price Prediction. Is Sofi really worth just $5? So we'll be going over their latest price targets from professionals, experts, as well as analysts, because we have many different price targets which range between $3 on the low end and $14 on the high end, and of course I will add my own analysis and opinion on how much I think Sofi Technologies is actually worth right now. After that, we'll move on and talk about their latest news updates regarding if their recent rally is actually overdone and whether or not this company is overvalued or undervalued. This should determine whether or not you buy the stock, sell the stock, or hold the stock in my personal opinion, but always make sure to do your own research. After that, we'll move on to another article to where we can see a list of various analysts and their overall ratings and price predictions on Sofi Technologies, so we can make an educated investment decision and what analyst I personally gravitate toward regarding their overall analysis. And I will also be criticizing other people who have a really low price target of around $2.50 or $3. After that, we will wrap up the video talking about an analyst who actually had a $25 price target on Sofi Technologies, and we'll discuss exactly why that is and if this is plausible for Sofi to actually achieve. So with that being said, go ahead and annihilate that like button right now, especially for more Sofi stock news updates just like this one. Subscribe if you are new, comment down below where you think the Sofi share price is headed in the future. Go ahead and subscribe for more videos like this one, and if you want, go ahead and press that join button right next to the subscribe button to support me personally here on YouTube for as little as 99 cents, because that allows me to continuously make videos just like this one for you. But again, if not, don't worry, by subscribing you will receive this content for absolutely free. But with that being said, I say let's jump right into today's stories. Sofi Technologies, as you probably already know, is a fintech company or a financial technology company that operates as a digital bank. Sofi stock has recently lowered by around 5% due to an analyst initiating coverage on the company and giving them around a $5 price target and an overall sell rating. And that analyst is from Compass Point. This price target downgrade comes in despite multiple positive news catalysts that are up and coming for Sofi Technologies, including the ending of the student loan moratorium, where people will have to pay on their overall student loans and their interest will also start to accrue on this overall borrowing. And on top of that, at the end of the year, they're anticipated and projected to become profitable. So those are two major catalysts that are coming up for Sofi stock. So why is this particular analyst so bearish and negative? Well, first let's discuss why the student loan moratorium is so important. Sofi makes a portion of its revenue regarding their lending segment through student loan refinancing. So it's extremely positive news that the student loan moratorium is ending, because that is going to increase demand for Sofi's refinancing service, and this will also allow people who have student loans to lower their overall interest rates, thereby saving these people money, and it also makes Sofi money. So it's a win-win situation here. On top of that, the CEO of Sofi currently estimates that the student loan refinancing market is currently worth around $200 billion. So even if Sofi Technologies were to obtain around 2% of this market, they would capture around $4 billion, which is around half of Sofi's current market capitalization, meaning that the Sofi share price could at minimum increase 50% if investors decide that Sofi Technologies could acquire around 2% of this overall market, which is very interesting. On top of that, Wall Street in general has mixed opinions about Sofi Technologies, to where the lower end price targets range between $2.50 to $3, and the higher end price targets range between $14 and $25. But the range between $3 and $14 are the most up-to-date price targets and price predictions for Sofi stock, while the average price target comes in at around $8.32, which is my personal price target. Currently, Sofi shares are trading for $8.26, and I personally think investors should hold this company until after one of the approaching catalysts, which would either be them becoming profitable and the student loan moratorium ending, where repayments are going to be mandatory starting in October. However, there is also the BTIG analyst who is extremely bullish and positive on this company, which believes the company could surge up to $14 once both of these catalysts are actualized. And he even says, and I quote, "Going forward, we expect Sofi to benefit from the successful implementation of the banking charter and associated ongoing deposit inflows, inflows. In conjunction with margin expansion, member growth, and the strong adoption of financial services products by members. So he also is anticipating more inflows from other banking institutions because remember, a lot of investors right now and just people who use regular banks are scared of a bank run or their bank going out of business or filing for bankruptcy, meaning that Sofi Technologies has experienced a lot of deposit inflows due to their very impressive FDIC insurance, which goes up to $2 million. Lastly, like I've said before, they are to reach GAAP profitability by the end of the year, making this company a phenomenal investment for long-term investors. But in the meantime, I personally would just hold tight and sit tight on this company. I wouldn't buy anymore. I wouldn't sell any right now. I would wait for these catalysts, and then depending on how influential these catalysts are and how it moves their overall share price, then I'm going to react with the market. I really don't want to anticipate what's going to happen. I want these hard numbers and data to come in, and then I will adjust my price target based on that data. But overall, I am still bullish on Sofi Technologies over the long term, unlike this particular stock author. So again, I like to compare the bearish and bullish or positive and negatives when it comes to a particular stock and company so you can make an educated financial decision. So that's why we're going to analyze a bearish negative article to where this author believes that you should sell this overall company right now, especially following the sell rating from that Compass Point analyst. So let's see what evidence he provides to have Sofi at a sell rating. Sofi Technologies, in my opinion, has actually generated a lot of nice growth and gains to where their overall share price has increased more than 80% since the beginning of January, which is exactly what I predicted in previous videos saying that Sofi stock was going to surge. However, this particular author says that the rally was due to the overall stock market rising, which is actually not true. That's a lie. Sofi Technologies was increasing even while the overall stock market at times was decreasing, and there is no way that the overall stock market increased by 80%. Clearly, Sofi had another catalyst which catapulted it further than the overall market gains, and then he adds that the investor optimism for Sofi was actually gravitating around student loan payments resuming, and I would also add them becoming profitable or projected to become profitable at the end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024. Yet he says that Sofi was only gaining because the overall market was gaining, which again, I reject. These catalysts are positive enough to where even if the market was downtrending, Sofi would have received a bump in their overall price target toward the positive end. This author also goes on to say that he agrees with the Compass Point analyst who argued that due to inflation, increasing interest rates, and tightening financial conditions, that is going to negatively impact Sofi Technologies' growth over the years to come. And yes, let me say that I actually agree with that. Clearly, the current environment is not ideal for companies like Sofi Technologies. However, I'm not going to say that's going to stump their overall growth for years to come, because eventually the interest rate increases will end, inflation will become under control, and then Sofi is going to further uptrend from then onwards. So I really think this is somewhat of a hasty generalization that this analyst is jumping to. But let's look at some of Sofi's fundamentals. So when we look at Sofi's overall revenues, they were up around 43% year over year, which is a massive increase, with sometimes the revenue jumping as high as 50% or higher. Now, let me agree with this overall financial reporter because he says, of course, no company can grow at 40 to 50% per year forever, and he is exactly right. We can anticipate that Sofi's overall growth rate will start to downtrend as time goes on, as the law of large numbers starts to take effect, but nonetheless, this still seems like a good company which is growing very aggressively. Sofi Technologies has also been doing more and more business with their existing customer base by either cross-selling them or upselling them on even more financial products or services. Essentially, Sofi wants to be your one-stop shop for anything finance related. They want you to use them and no one else, which is actually a pretty good goal for a company to have. However, what I like about this is Sofi's business model. They have a flywheel business model to where once they acquire a member, they can continuously upsell or cross-sell that member on new products until their member is so networked into their overall banking system that it would be extremely inconvenient for them to ever leave Sofi Technologies. So Sofi's overall products and services are very sticky. On top of that, we know that the company generated $1.6 billion worth of sales last year, and they are forecasted to bring in $2 billion in sales this year. Also, for the next 2 years, that's supposed to increase to $2.4 billion and $2.8 billion respectively. This would equate to a revenue growth rate of 25%, then 22%, and then 15%. So again, we can see that downtrend in their overall revenues, which is exactly what should be expected. Now, while Sofi is still growing their overall business and it's still performing very very well, and for the long run it looks positive, why are certain professionals lowering their overall stock ratings and price targets and predictions on Sofi stock? Well, let's talk about it. The main reason is that some analysts don't believe Sofi Technologies will achieve profitability by the end of the year. This particular author cites that the company guides for around $280 million in adjusted EBITDA for the current year, being 2023. And this is actually good news until he goes on to talk about Sofi's stock-based compensation. Clearly, it's normal for growth companies to have stock-based or share-based compensation. However, most companies do not issue at the same rate as Sofi Technologies. For instance, the author correctly compares Sofi's stock-based compensation expense, which is around $250 million, which is very close to their forecasted EBITDA. However, I would say on the positive news, they still have over a $30 million difference, which is a big deal. And from that point onwards, from the remainder of this year into the coming years, we can anticipate that this will grow rapidly from the difference between their overall adjusted EBITDA and their overall share-based compensation, because their stock-based compensation is anticipated to lower over time, while their EBITDA is anticipated to increase. So literally, once they become profitable, this is going to be very good news, meaning that I have the exact polar opposite perspective as this particular author, even though overall I have a hold rating on Sofi Technologies, and I personally only own around 3% of this company regarding my portfolio weight and allocation. Now, the really good news is that Sofi Technologies is currently trading at a market cap of around $8 billion. However, the author believes that this is too steep, and I can agree with him on this point. I understand how he arrives at this, because when we compare their price to EBITDA multiple, it's 29, which is very high. Ideally, we would want this to be a lot lower. Also, when we compare Sofi's enterprise value to their EBITDA multiple, it's 40 right now. Again, that is relatively high, but what I'm really holding on to is their overall GAAP profitability, and that's exactly what other people are betting on as well, which is why the share price, I think, should be worth around what it's trading at right now. I do think it's pretty fairly valued, even though in the short term, due to investor psychology, I do think the share price could pull back, but overall, I think Sofi is trading pretty comfortably where they are right now. So in the end, this author says that Sofi is not very attractive right now, and that would be the overall bearish negative perspective on Sofi Technologies. However, when we look to actual analysts and professionals and experts in this overall field, we see the polar opposite. Again, there are some mixed opinions here, but overall, it's relatively positive, to where we only have one sell rating on this company, again, from that Compass Point analyst. We have Truist Securities analysts, Bank of America analysts, Piper Sandler, Oppenheimer, BTIG, and many others that are reiterating or maintaining buy ratings or neutral ratings or perform ratings. Again, a buy rating, but overall, if you can see over here to the right, either their overall ratings or price targets were increased or raised, or they were overall maintained. Now, even though the rating may have dropped in a couple of instances from overweight to neutral or outperform to perform, we can see that the overall price targets have increased, and that's what I really want to see right now. I want to see the bullishness in their overall price targets, not necessarily their overall ratings. Clearly, I would disagree with the Wedbush analyst, which currently has like a $2.50 or a $3 price target. I think that's somewhat ridiculous, and again, I adamantly disagree with a sell rating on Sofi Technologies. For me, I'm saying to hold this company until those upcoming catalysts actually reach our ears, so we can anticipate whether or not the fruition of our overall predictions is accurate. And so far, it's been extremely accurate. I've reported on Sofi a lot, and so far, my predictions have been completely accurate. But I do want to say that no one really knows the future. We can only make educated guesses, and so far, our educated guesses have been correct. Lastly, what I found was interesting is that back in 2021, we had a price target for Sofi Technologies that goes as high as $25, representing approximately a 206% increase on Sofi Technologies. So clearly this analyst had a buy rating on it. So in essence, I do think that this price target over the next 12 months is somewhat unrealistic, because again, we don't want to overhype a company. We need the company's price target to be attached to their overall fundamentals fundamentals and their future financial projections. Once those things become separate, there's nothing that could prevent you to say that this company could go to $50 or $100. That's why I'm extremely critical, and I'm very careful not to overhype companies. That's why, again, I have a personal price target of around $8 to $9 on Sofi Technologies and a hold rating until the catalyst of the student loan moratorium officially ending, where repayments start in October, and if this company becomes profitable by the end of the year. Those two things are going to speak volumes on Sofi Technologies, and then from that point onward, we are going to make another educated guess about where the company could be going. But as of right now, we really just need to see what happens to the stock when these catalysts are actualized. So with that being said, remember to go and practice proper risk management by not overexposing yourself any more than a 5% allocation to any singular risky growth company, including Sofi Technologies. In the end, I would say this is a very bullish news update on Sofi stock. Again, I am still very positive and bullish about the long-term aspects and prospects of this overall company. I would love to hear your price targets down below. Comment what you think of these overall news stories. Subscribe if you are new. Don't forget to become a member for as little as 99 cents, and I will see you in the next YT video.